Today I'm going to give you an update on my front yard garden, following the video of the tour of my front yard garden that I posted some weeks ago. Yeah, so welcome to Zawi, those that are coming for the first time and those that are coming back to watch. You're all welcome today. So I'm going to start talking about the roses. Remember, I was talking about the standard roses. I think you remember telling you that my standard roses, the ones that come up as one stem and bush up much higher from the ground. So this is what they've become now. Last time I posted the video, we had just pruned them, right? Pruning means removing everything, like we just remain with almost like just short stems. We've had to do that because sometimes the leaves are not doing well, or the plant is not doing well. But when you look at this plant now, you can tell that there's a lot of life in this plant. There's more foliage on the rose plant. And look at the flowers, guys. Look at the rose plant. Look at the petals. Look at that. There's so many flowers on the plant because we fed it with fertilizer. Remember I said we had added ammonium nitrate, a mixture of compound D and ammonium nitrate. So now after weeks of watering and caring for it, we get this lush, this beautiful foliage. You may be wondering, what's the white powder on the leaves here? You see the white powder? When you grow roses, sometimes you have to keep monitoring them. You don't just prune or trim and let them be. We figured a few days ago that we were beginning to get some lice on the buds, on the plants here. We are beginning to get some lice. You see, they look like the mice, sorry, not the mice, the lice that you get on green vegetables. So when you see that, rather than allow the situation to get worse, guys, we try to treat it before it gets worse, because then it's going to affect the flowers and the leaves and eventually the entire plant. Or I was, because we have a lot of worms on the grass, guys. I was scared. I almost jumped because I thought a worm was getting onto my feet. Anyway, so we ended up buying what we call huku dust from Farm City. We tell them the problem and then they recommend something just for the lice, right? So that's the white powder you see. It's just a way of treating or managing the lice on the plant. So I'm sure you can tell the difference now. So the mixture of the fertilizer, no, you see this is green and the plants, you know. So, and then when you come here, we look at the other plants. This is the red one. It's still a standard rose. This is for support, to maintain structure. You still see the huku dust, because when we treat one rose plant in the garden, we treat all of them, even if all the other roses didn't have any lice or didn't show like they needed to be treated. So we treat one, we treat all of them. So that's recommended, right? So look at the roses. You see? That's a rose, beautiful flower. Look at this one too. Look at this one too. When you look at the roses, you can tell it's healthy, nothing, no sickness. So this huku dust will take care of the lice and everything for the time being. If it shows up with a different disease or infection, or we go back to Farm City, guys, and then they tell us what to do. They will recommend a different product. Now, let's go and talk about the other rose plant. Last time, this rose had beautiful white flowers and we really loved them. But at some point, they started to dry up, and what we need to do is to cut them off. The trick with roses, guys, is to have to cut off whatever is dead. So we just trimmed off everything. Now we're gonna have some new growth like this. We're gonna have some new growth. In a couple of weeks, this new growth will be filling up the entire plant, and then we start getting a new bloom, right? So you can tell from the fertilizer mixture that the leaves are green, the leaves look healthy. So the other thing I wanted to talk about in the garden is the lawn. Last time we had brown patches all over the place in the lawn, and I did explain that it was because we had added compost or manure, and it didn't look really nice. So now the grass has come through the compost, so it's looking really beautiful. So this is why sometimes we don't mind adding compost and things don't look okay or beautiful for a short period of time. As long as the grass gets more water, now you can tell it's beautiful now. The other thing is, I talked about leaving an empty space here for play and for, you know, people just sitting. We ended up adding this pygmy palm. This is a pygmy palm. If you look back on the video, the pygmy palm used to be in a different pot. We're gonna show you right by the entrance of the house, but we thought it wasn't really happy because it didn't look happy, and for a long time it didn't change its height. So we thought that there wasn't any growth, because this was planted like a year ago in the pot, and I hardly have seen any growth in the plant. So ever since we put this down about 2 weeks in the ground, we feel like it's happy. Even the center of the plant here, we can see some new shoots coming up, means it's happy. So we believe that maybe the pot was constricting the roots of the plant, and maybe it's happier in the ground than it was there. One more thing I want to say about this. When you look at this plant, the pygmy plant, I put it in line with this paper plant. I put it in line with this paper plant, right? Because I'm looking at a situation where we don't know how long this pepper plant is going to be okay. Sometimes we find in our garden plants just begin to dry up and then they die, and then we end up just having to cut it off. So this is obstructing, some are partially obstructing the part of this house. So we are looking at a situation where in the future, if there's any need to cut this, or if it dries up, or if we weren't happy with it, or sometimes it may just grow too big and we don't want it like that in front of the house, the pygmy palm would have grown enough to kind of replace whatever that other plant is obscuring, right? So this is a way of looking into the future and trying to balance. If anything happens to that plant, the pygmy, we can't lose both of them, is what we're trying to say. And of course, on this side, everything doing well here. The stuff I planted on the log, see how it's filling up now? It's beautiful. Of course, we moved our dummy mushrooms from that side to here, because we were looking at this corner from the other side of the yard or garden, and we thought it was a bit down, so we needed something to brighten up the area. So we added the mushrooms next to the guinea fowl. So let me show you guys what happened to the pot we took out the pygmy palm from. So this is the pot where the pygmy palm used to be, right in front there. Right in front there. So we moved the pot to this because we thought there was a bit too many pots there. So we decided to bring this pot here. Look at the design at the bottom there. And then we wanted something brighter and smaller, so we did put 2 roses, one blooming yellow and another one red, because the background is entirely green. So we wanted some color here, guys. So we just didn't cut this because we still want that bloom there. Eventually we're gonna cut it so that everything is even, and then they start blooming up. So this is what we did. We ended up moving the pot. We added a different plant to replace the pygmy palm that we put in the other in the ground over there. So one more thing I want to add to you is this bed of paradise. I think last time it didn't have any bloom, so this is a fresh bloom, guys. This is the bed of paradise. This is how it blooms. I don't know, multiple colors. For me, that looks weird. That looks like a tongue and something. So I'm sure this is where the name of the plant comes from. And you can tell that there is more coming. When you look at this one, this is another one coming out. And yeah, so far we have two. So they bloom for quite a bit of time, and then that one, and then eventually they will dry up, or they'll wilt, and then they dry up. Some people don't throw them away. They cut them off and put them in the vase. A lot of people grow these indoors or in closed areas. I've never attempted to put this in the house because I know it requires some kind of light, and I'm worried if it will be able to bloom when you put it where it doesn't get enough sunshine. So yeah, so there's been a little change there. Obviously, the bougainvillea is blooming more now. Remember, we added fertilizer. So everything generally remains the same, except here, the elephant ear continues to bring up more plants. So we've ended up having to give away some of them because this is too much. We can't have elephants here fill up the entire space. Oh, I forgot to talk to you guys about my palm trees. My palm trees. Look at the palm tree. Last time we had a few fronds, and we ended up cutting them because they looked ugly, and they, we just felt like they needed to be off the plant. Although it is known that with the king palm, it's self-cleaning, so we could have left it just for the plant to do itself, but I don't know, we just thought we needed to help it. So now we have new foliage, guys. Come and see this one. You can tell this is new foliage. Now it looks fresh, it looks brighter than this one. So each time they come up, this is what it looks like. Now you can see how it's taller now than it was the other time. So we already have one more coming up here. This one is gonna form another front, but we don't know what broke that part tip here. They say we shouldn't tamper with that, but I don't know, we don't know what happened to it. Anyway, this is the new foliage. I'm sure you can tell we're beginning to get more and more foliage. When look at the bottom, guys, we're also getting more and more of this. This is showing the growth, right? And they say when you put it in the soil, you should leave this part exposed. We shouldn't cover the soil up to there. It's not good for the plant. So let me show you the other one. This is the other one too. This is the new front. This one, that's the old one, and this one, we've cut the old ones the same way we cut there. And we got this tip. This is the most delicate part of the plant. So we're gonna leave it as it is. In I would say in 4 or 5 weeks time, maybe we could start getting more fronds coming. And I'm sure you can tell now this is long. Look at this one compared to my height, guys. This is what's happening in the garden. So this is all I had for today, guys. Until the next video, guys, Cecilia Zawi TV, have a good day. Bye-bye.